Are there any questions to the panel that you would like to put forward right now? Okay, and present yourself as well.
My name is Daumantas Matulis. I'm a scientist, biotechnologist. We face a major issue when we want to apply for funding. For example, we have EU-wide programs, and we're looking for Northern Europe-wide programs. And those usually Swedish funds are closed for us, or Finnish funds are closed for us. Is there something foreseen in the future where we could cross-apply, for example, Swedes to apply to Lithuania and vice versa?
Who wants to answer this one?
I guess so.
You want the microphone there?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I mean, one of the really big issues in the way that we've been thinking in Europe is that we've too often nationalized the funding. It's particularly obvious in the structural funds where there's allocations to countries or to regions within countries. The whole idea of the European Union strategy is to try and change that. I'm not sure that we're quite there yet, but we have been able to make it possible for country-specific programs, so one for Sweden, to actually invest in Lithuania and vice versa. Not, I don't think, anything like enough, and I don't think it's easy enough to do it, but maybe it's a start. I think the other thing is that we really want to make the funding, the way it's thought about within Lithuania, much more sort of open to the connections through to the other countries. And what we would very much like, this is the priority area, would really be working on this, is to try and have similar investments or projects in the different places so that they can link up. And we do have a Baltic Sea Region program, which is for that. But I think the really big gain, the big prize, is in changing the mindset about the national funding to make it more outward looking. And in particular, I mean, I cannot understand why any country, let's say my own country, should think it's able to innovate its way out of crisis or whatever all by itself. I think it just has to be thinking in terms of the best examples elsewhere, taking those examples and utilizing them and making the links. So I think that's got to be built into the programming thinking.
So you are saying that at least 15% of the national budget in structural funds should go to transnational cooperation, or something like that? Not all, but
yeah, 50. Yeah,
or something.
Let's put it this way: more should go.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to comment a little bit, Lennart, as well? Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Isn't this also what Horizon 2020 is very much about? To do this, what you are talking about, and I think one thing way to do this also that, for example, in Skåne we have around mobility, we have 3 very special research institutes. One, the latest on mobile devices and cloud architecture. I think that if we can find a way to link with companies, maybe that could be a way to do this, because companies, they are really cross-border. They don't really bother about nations. So by linking up, for example, to this global institute around mobile in this case, but maybe another institute in other countries, we can really connect this.
Wolfgang, you wanted to say something as well on this?
No, I have another question in that direction.
Okay.
Is it okay?
Do we have a question? All right. Okay, then you can take your question, and we'll see if there are anyone in the audience as well. But you first.
Yeah, I think what we feel sometimes in the region, it's not only a problem to apply at another country, which is impossible. It's even impossible, for example, in a region to apply for money from our Ministry of Agriculture because you belong in a wrong box or in a wrong drawer. And there is the tool of these multi-fund program approaches. Are you aware how many regions already actively use it? Because we feel in our region there's a lot of resistance in the administration level. Oh, another new tool, we have to talk to the people from the agricultural minister who is from the other political party. No, that's their box. And so are there any ideas how to renovate or modernize somehow this system? Because what we talk about is cross-sectoral actions, and sorry, this does not fit together. This is no blame to you, but it's a kind of normal human and political behavior that people have their money and they don't want to give it out.
I mentioned one example. I hope, and I think that it will be fulfilled, that around small cities with Finland, Sweden, VINNOVA, Tekes, Skåne, Tampere, and even with Malmö. So then connecting small things and by putting our shoulders together with VINNOVA, Tekes, and with cities, we can maybe, I think we can do this.
Thank you. Here's another question.
Actually, not a question, but just a remark. I'm Christiane Bresnik from the city of Vienna and managing the neighboring transnational program, the Central Europe program. And I've came to Vilnius also to see and get more acknowledged with the Baltic Sea strategy and what's going on here, because we understand our program also a little bit as a bridging program between the Baltic strategy and the Danube strategy. We also started in the last 2 years to invite from the other programs also projects when we had thematic seminars. And it is also our intention, since we do not know how the different transnational programs, which exactly the investment priorities they will pick and which specific objectives they will pick, we will cooperate closely with them to see if there are some links and also some areas of common future projects in the same areas, so we that also can connect to the southern transnational programs and to the northern transnational programs and work together also with the programs managements to see if there are strategic projects in your program that could be somehow also interesting with some strategic areas in our program.
Is there anyone that would like to comment on or anything? Or just your statement? That's good to find cooperation. I have a question, though, to you as well. We talked about, and I think Wolfgang mentioned it, there are many platforms, strategic sort of platforms that you want to have as a rocket launch, that we call them, at least. We found that it's very good to have this kind of framework, but that does not show the short-term results either, because when you talk to ministries and so forth, so they also ask for what is the good of this? Why do we put money into this kind of innovation? Maybe we can do business directly. So there is actually two questions. One of the importance of the framework, and also how can we show actions and activities quickly. Do you have any advice about how this can be done? Can anyone answer this? Maybe I can talk to Erik first, and then you can go.
Yeah, I think we have to look upon it more like a continuous sustainable process. So we realize that it's a long-term perspective, and of course you will see quite immediate results from time to other. But we must also respect the time frame from the time when you put the seed in the ground till you have the full-grown plant and you will have the first fruits from it. Especially when you're talking about innovation, it's not an easy process. It can be quick, but maybe not always.
One thing we haven't mentioned today is procurement. So I think one way to do this, really, because we talked about Death Valley. Well, Death Valley exists when there is no customer very close. So if you have a customer, there's really no Death Valley. So and then one of the most important and really good customer is the society. Cities, regions. We have in our healthcare organization, we have 32,000 people and billions of euro, and we are very, very important customer. So if we can, in a way, I think we could use the network, for example, by putting need for services, need for products into the network. Like preemptive diabetes, using mobile Vikings with mobile health and connecting with food and something. And this is what we are really heading for, and it is not far away. But then really we should try to not point at company, just looking that we have 3 fingers on ourselves. Really to use the cities and the regions as a customer, and then we can connect.
Good. Angela?
Yeah, I think indeed this prioritizing is very important, and one can show also, in the rather short-term results, but that actually what is key is this combination of sort of a long-term strategy, a long-term vision, and that one is also really keeping with certain ideas, keeping with certain also policy strategies, and that not, you know, in 3 years' time, yet another buzzword is coming across. So, you know, to have this combination of long-term institutional funding with short-term projects, so projects are good, and you have to have also incentives so that at a certain stage, after 3 years, you should sort of evaluate, is this going into the right direction or not? But then if it's going into the right direction, also to have the possibility to have then project number 2 and not to have to reinvent everything in a new way. So I think this kind of combined way is important. And what we have learned, for instance, in the field of blue biotechnology, that the companies which are successful, they have a long-term strategy. They really invest long-term. They want to have a short-term, you know, return of the money, but in fact, they are going for these products really, you know, already for 20 years, etc.
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm that, and that was the reason why I put it on the table, because that's the experience. Now we have launched a lot of pilots, and all these pilots we have participated in launching, for example, also Submariner, and imagine there are now 2, 3, 4 more. And then suddenly the companies, our members are asked, oh, you can become member there, you might become member there, and so on. Of course, we cannot afford everything, so that's a normal process. But to have a nice mixture, like this word, between institutional or basic, midterm finance consortia or platforms, and these project-based financing, this would be nice, because just with project financing, it's, well, almost impossible. Yeah. So we have somehow survived, but it's not so easy.
So we also have to find some kind of financing for the sort of this cooperation. This network has to be financed in the project as well.
It's also that we have now, or not we, all of us, we have Submariner as well has built up some experience in how to deal with the funds. It's normal administrative experience, and we lose it. We start always again from the scratch. And we make similar faults. So there, I don't have a solution, but we should maybe have a signaling session.
Yes,
on
we will do this. Did you want to say something, Vilma? Yeah.
My name is Rima Dijkstra, and I would like to ask all panelists. We heard today very interesting stories. It was a long journey to create such international innovation collaboration platforms. It is not easy, I know. You have to build trust, you have to make linkages and create the networks. And can you point, what is the crucial points now to develop these platforms with collaboration projects further? What is the future? What kind of steps you should take, and how you can develop this process? And also a question to Mr. Colin Wolf. How a commission can support these processes, because it's really very good practices, and we need some help from Commission as well, not only for governments and so on. So thank you.
Okay, maybe you can answer rather quickly. We're running out of time, but maybe if you would just start there and then go over.
Yeah, well, as I described with Submariner, I think that, for instance, this EIG, this concept, this European Economic Interest Grouping, is really a very interesting structure, and where what is important here, that it has come from EU project, but then, you know, national member state institutions or regional ones, by the way, also ScanBalt and Biocon Valley, that they have picked up on it, and now they are investing, you know, not so much because it's a group, but they are investing into this long-term grouping. And so and if you have this sort of basic funding, then you can go out again and then attract more and sort of look for, you know, new project funding, etc. But by sort of, you know, I really think that in terms of these EIGs, you can have sort of this cost share among the member states.
Very quickly.
We are facing with the problem to having a project, and we need to have a sustainable organization in future. So our problem at the moment is to discuss with the member states, with the different ministries of economics, science, technology to have a sustainable financing of future activities?
My answer will be pick just one very clear needs from a society, from a city as a customer, go for it, mix different actors together, and then we will have a solution.
I'd say very much the same thing. It's pick these objectives really clearly. I think the strategy for the Baltic Sea region did it in terms of save the sea, connect the region, increase prosperity. Now, what you think of those, I don't know, but if everybody is constantly using those as the orientation line, and whether it's in the links or whether it's in the national policy and programming, that will really, in the end, I think it'll lead to what you are saying in terms of making things happen over the longer term.
Yes, it's in the same direction as Angela said, so this kind of long-term and short-term mixture together with, probably there's a lot of talk already going on. Easy financing instrument. It's good that we have money, but it was almost, this for some organizations, the type of financing, we want to launch something and we pay for it, 1 year or 1.5 years later. This is difficult for keeping people motivated. This is, so probably there are talks in the administration going on, but it would be a big wish. And to have a commitment of all the regions, because I think that the regions are so different. It might be that you already have a commitment, what we heard in Brussels, but maybe the regions say, okay, let them talk in Brussels and let the contract be on the paper. We do it our way. Prussian, very accurate, which is also okay, but a little bit difficult for all the motivation we put into the system.
Good, Vilma.
Yes, not on us, on other people.
You're all motivated. That's very good. You can change the world. Go ahead, Vilma.
Okay, so I think for us, for policymakers, so we are responsible for creating those favorable conditions for innovation, for entrepreneurship, for the collaboration activities, and also those new initiatives for new financial instruments. During the planning period, we should take in our mind, in our account, that those macro-regional cross-border collaboration, how to attract those people and how to help them to collaborate on innovation, and of course attract more business. That those business opportunities would become new product, new innovative services, and this would be good.
And Erik.
Always good to have the final word, you know.
I have the final word.
Okay. But actually, I agree with all of you. I don't have too much to add. Only one thing. For the participation, I've been the process leader in Stardust. And last week we had a conference where we were sort of, having a final conference. It's hard to say, but for the project anyway. And I think those of you who were there felt that we had really built trust within the team, and I think this is something we mustn't forget. And when you have trust, you have also the ability to have fun together. And to me, innovation is fun, so don't forget about the fun part in these projects. Thank you.
Thank all of you in the panel. And before I let you leave, I would like to summarize in short words there. I think it's so important that we continue this work together and that we keep up the sort of the platform building and the framework that we are doing, and that we find a positive, flexible way of financing this. Maybe the nation goes very in short-term mobilizing the actors, making things happen, and then we can get long-term financing, hopefully 3 + 3 years at least, so that they can be extended. And then also that we have actually been able to find interesting new tools that we can use to be more innovative and increase the innovation capacity. Thank you for listening. Thank you.